13 WMAZ Morning starts now.
It's a beautiful start to what will be another very hot and humid afternoon. I'll have those details and talk about those afternoon showers and storms as well. That's all coming up.
Plus, the trial for the man accused of killing Ocilla teacher and beauty queen Tara Grinstead has now started. How the court is working to keep a fair trial, but why one man says it may not be possible.
Plus, one of Warner Robins' biggest events is just 2 months away, but will the city's Independence Day plans look different this year? The decision leaders made.
And it's not just a job for one Macon Bibb teacher. Why she quit a high-paying job to fuel her passion.
Well, good morning. Just stop what you're doing and look at this sunrise. Another beautiful start to the day in downtown Macon. The time is 6:31 on May 3rd. I'm Caitlin Heck.
And I'm Wanya Reese, and also a happy National Teacher Appreciation Day to all of our educators who start their morning with us. We appreciate you and all that you do.
Yes, hopefully you can maybe stop and get an iced coffee on your way into work today. You deserve it. And iced is definitely the key this morning, Courtney.
That's right. Yeah, that'll help cool you down a little because it is a pretty mild start to the day. In some spots, you would consider it warm. And really just a beautiful sunrise. This is my gift to all of you teachers out there. Just a beautiful start to the day. Worked my little magical weather powers that I have out there this morning. It is a beautiful morning, and it is slightly muggy out there. You're definitely going to notice that. 64 temperature-wise in the city of Macon. Dew point in the low 60s. So once you get over that 60 threshold dew point-wise, that's when it starts to get into that humid range, and that will lead to a hot and humid afternoon, unfortunately. So iced coffee for the morning, but definitely pack plenty of water with you for the rest of the afternoon. 65 in Warner Robins, 64 in Byron, 65 in Roberta, 64 down in Hawkinsville, and 63 in Dudley. We're at 61 in Thomaston, 67 in Montezuma, and 67 in Sandersville. So some spots are closer to 70 degrees already. And we're going to head into the low 90s. Expect mid 80s by your lunch hour, and then come the afternoon, those isolated storms will be possible with temperatures in the low 90s. How long do we stay in the low 90s? I'll have those details in a few minutes.
Thank you, Courtney. What could be the final chapter in a more than 16-year murder mystery is now officially underway in Georgia.
Yesterday, hundreds of people flocked in and out of the Irwin County Courthouse, marking day one of Ryan Duke's trial. He's the man accused of killing Ocilla teacher and beauty queen Tara Grinstead in 2005. The court summoned 800 people for jury selection. The goal is to choose 12 jurors along with some alternates who can give Duke a fair trial.
Now, the district attorney's office says the court summoned hundreds of people because they need to find jurors that can judge solely based on the evidence and ensure they have not already made up their mind on whether or not Duke is guilty. One Ocilla man believes that could be a challenge.
I don't think it'd ever be fair. I really don't, because so many people knew her or knew somebody that knew her. It's just because it's a small town.
The prosecution team says the other challenge in jury selection is finding people who can be away from work for a month or more. That's how long the court estimates the trial could last.
Now, the court did ask 400 people to report yesterday and 400 more next Monday. The act of selecting a juror through individual questioning is set to start this morning at 8:30 a.m. for the first set of possible jurors. We'll have coverage throughout Duke's trial on 13WMAZ.com, and you can find all of our coverage from the past 16 plus years of the case history right now.
Just go to our 13WMAZ YouTube channel and find the Tara Grinstead case playlist, or you can find those stories on your Amazon or Roku streaming player.
The time is 6:34 a.m. right now. Bibb deputies are trying to find the man who robbed a CVS store in Macon. The sheriff's office says it happened just after 2 this morning at the location on Gray Highway. They say a man with a gun went into the store and demanded money from the clerk. He ran away after getting some cash, and thankfully no one got hurt. If you have any information on this case, you can call the Macon Regional Crime Stoppers. That number, it's 1-877-68-CRIME. That number again for you, it's 1-877-68-CRIME. Today, we could learn how long a former pastor from Milledgeville will spend in prison. Back in February, we told you about 44-year-old Eric Taniga, who pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl in Uganda while he was there on mission work. Prosecutors say it happened in 2019 while Taniga was working in the African nation for a Presbyterian church group. He posted this picture on a blog describing his mission trip. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Macon says his sentencing is set for today. He faces up to 30 years in prison if convicted.
Now to your news from across the state. A court's now chosen a special grand jury for the investigation into whether former President Donald Trump and others tried illegally to influence the 2020 election in Georgia. The investigation got underway early last year. To help it along, Fulton County's DA requested a special grand jury with subpoena power to get testimony from people who have refused to cooperate otherwise. The more than 20-member grand jury will be seated for up to a year. And we're finally learning how much money it took to lure a huge electric vehicle plant east of Atlanta. Georgia and local governments plan to give Rivian Automotive $1.5 billion of incentives to build a 7,500-job, $5 billion plant. That's based on documents the company and state signed yesterday. Rivian hopes to break ground as early as this summer and begin production in Georgia in 2024. Not everyone is on board with the plant, though. People living around the planned site say development there will spoil their rural quality of life. Well, you need to turn the volume down in Warner Robins or it could cost you.
That's right. The city council updated its noise ordinance last night, making it easier for police to fine you if you're being too loud. Warner Robins Police Chief John Wagner brought the ordinance to council after receiving dozens of weekend calls from the public about noise disturbances. He says the International City has a noise ordinance in place, but it's not stopping people from playing music too loud at night or hosting large disruptive parties on the weekend.
Under that ordinance, police could only give you a citation if the noise reached a certain level on their decibel radar reading. Now, because council approved it, police can stop and cite you at their discretion.
Even the readings were not necessarily so accurate, or the fact that you could stand outside and hear the loud noises and see that it's not necessarily picking up. We felt that it best that we go pretty much an old school approach of it, which is basically the officer can hear the loud music, and if you can hear the loud music, you have the option to cite.
Now, Chief Wagner says they will give warnings first, but these citations could cost you about $100.
You can read more about this story, including noise restriction hours in Warner Robins, right now on 13WMAZ.com. Speaking of Warner Robins, we're just a few months out from the city's Independence Day celebration, and while freedom will ring, it doesn't look like Freedom Field will. Last night, council member chose to keep the celebration at McConnell-Talbert Stadium, where it normally happens. They were considering moving it about 8 miles away to Freedom Field. The decision now awaits the Houston County School System's vote for final approval.
Tonight, Bibb County commissioners are expected to talk about a new ordinance making it easier for the county to remove junk cars from private property. The county would work with the sheriff's office to identify abandoned cars. Vehicles left in vacant lots or even private property could be towed. If they find a car that's been there longer than 15 days, the sheriff's office or code enforcement department would deliver a notice to the property owner. Then that property owner gets 10 days to remove, store, or get rid of the vehicle. Also tonight, commissioners will consider over $2 million to remove potholes and roads across the county. It would fix nearly 10 miles. This money would come from 2018 SPLOST money, along with grant money from the State Department of Transportation. County leaders meet this evening at 6. Today, you could land a job with Bibb County Schools on their nutrition or transportation teams. The district says they'll hold a hiring blitz at their central office building on Mulberry Street. It goes from 9 a.m. to noon and then 1 to 4 this afternoon. There are several positions available, including bus drivers and school nutrition assistants.
But those aren't the only positions Bibb County schools are trying to fill. They also need teachers. A look at the shortage happening across the state and solutions to fix it. Plus,
are you tired of the sun seeping through the windows and making the inside of your home too hot? I'll explain how to keep the heat out and keep some money in your pocket coming up after the break.
Right now it is 6:39. Those will be some great tips because I've noticed I keep putting my air conditioner down a little bit more and that price tag keeps going up and up.
Yeah, right. I've been noticing that, keep it like on a nice set temperature, but it's been running a whole lot more over the past few days.
Oh man, it's the time of year where your electric bill starts to go back up after I feel like we just got a little break after having to keep the heat on in the winter time,
Yep.
So what can you do? Summertime and springtime in the southeast, everyone. You got to keep nice and cool because it's going to get hot out there, including this afternoon. You can see for your Teacher Appreciation Day forecast. Happy Teacher Appreciation Day to all of our wonderful teachers out there across Central Georgia. We're going to continue to celebrate you throughout the show, and you deserve every single ounce of celebration today, and really not just for a day. I know this is the entire week, but we are thankful for you every single day of the year. And for your forecast today, as you're you're maybe getting ready to head out the door, it's a fairly mild start to the day. And as we head towards your lunch hour, so around the recess hour, when you're heading out to lunch, it is going to be quite warm. Temperatures will be in the mid 80s. And then as you head home a little later in the day, all of you students heading out on the bus to head home, temperatures are going to be in the low 90s, maybe an isolated storm. I think most of our storm activity will stay closer to the coast today. So our southeastern counties, places like Telfair, Wheeler, Montgomery, I think we'll be looking for you today for that isolated storm chance. Otherwise, it's going to be hot and humid. Those low 90s, it's going to feel about a degree or two warmer as we head through the afternoon. And that is thanks to the fact that we're underneath a warm front. Underneath warm fronts, that's where you get that really warm air as we continue to surge in wind out of the south. So not only is it warm, it's also pretty muggy out there. Cold front that's off to our west. This is not going to move through our area. In fact, it's going to bring a severe threat to parts of Tennessee all the way up towards Ohio today, but this is going to stay north as the center of circulation up here towards St. Louis. That continues to move north, and it will essentially pull the whole weather system with it. But we will have a cold front eventually. We have to wait to the end of the week for that. In the meantime, a beautiful start to the day, a gorgeous looking sunrise. We have some wispy, what we call cirrus clouds. Those are made of tiny ice crystals in the sky, really making it for a beautiful start to the day. 63 in Dublin with the dew point in the low 60s, and area-wide we are generally in the low to mid 60s. A very mild morning out there, so you probably don't even need a jacket as you head out the door. Through the day today, we'll have a clearing of skies. We're going to be near 80 by 10 a.m., everyone. We're going to warm very quickly today. Temperatures will head, I think we're all going to head into the low 90s. In fact, I have us forecast at 91 today, the record 93, so we'll get very close to it. Here's a look at those sea breeze showers and storms. We'll have what we call a sea breeze front start to set up along the coast, and so we could maybe have an isolated storm from that and could have a lingering shower through the overnight. As we wake up tomorrow morning, low to mid 60s yet again. Tomorrow, a degree or two warmer. We'll have a front that is out to our west right now get close to the area. It's not going to move through, but it will offer that chance for isolated showers and storms tomorrow afternoon and evening. No severe threat tomorrow or today. Could maybe have an isolated strong storm, but come Friday afternoon as our front moves in, we could be watching for an isolated severe threat. We're going to keep an eye on that. For now, low 90s, those isolated storms over the next few days, and then Friday, that cold front brings us a more widespread rain chance. We'll be dry by Mother's Day.
Thank you, Courtney. It's National Teacher Day. Educators are responsible for growing and shaping young minds. They love and care for our children and go above and beyond to make them feel special. Now it's their turn to be celebrated. We'll be honoring teachers and sharing photos throughout the day. Enjoy these photos as we go to break.